Hey guys, Sonya here from Cherry Creek Mortgage. Today I wanted to catch up with you about what is going on in the financial market when it comes to investing in real estate, buying a second home, and overall qualification parameters tightening this year. So I'm not sure if you all understand the dynamic between the U.S. Treasury and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So going back to 2008 when we were in that financial crisis, it was deemed that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac were essentially too big to fail. That's when the U.S. Treasury stepped in and placed both Fannie and Freddie under a conservatorship. And essentially what they did was they decided that they would have their back. If they came into a real financial difficulty, that the U.S. Treasury would step in and help support them because of the systemic risk that it ultimately posed if those entities failed. So in that relationship, there's obviously agreements and oversight, because ultimately at the end of the day, the U.S. Treasury with an investment like this would want to make sure that they're protecting the everyday taxpayer. So this was a good thing. It helped liquidity in the market. It helped keep Fannie and Freddie afloat and ultimately kept liquidity going and allowed people to keep buying homes and getting mortgages. So fast forward to today. So what are we seeing this year? So we've had some pretty big changes, and ultimately they were derived because of an agreement between Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, as well as with the U.S. Treasury, where the U.S. Treasury has decided that they really want to start limiting the risk that they're taking within the backing of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And one of the ways, there were three real ways they decided to do this. One was around what type of financing would be within the portfolio that they were backing. So as an example, earlier this year, they said that they did not want any lender who is essentially going to be delivering loans to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to hold more than about a 7% ratio in their entire lending portfolio for investment properties and second homes. They also wanted to limit how much in that portfolio would have high risk factors like high debt ratios or really low credit scores, or layered risk, better put. So if there was multiple factors. So they've tightened up a bunch of algorithms that we use as a lender to approve someone. So someone approved maybe late last year may not get qualified under some of these tightened parameters. And certainly the push to limit the amount of the portfolio dedicated to investment properties and second homes has obviously caused some pressure in the markets. Now, there's even been talk as of late that they're pushing this down now to 3%. So what does this really mean to a consumer? So if you are an investor or someone looking to buy a second home, just know that there's still options out there, but this is really being done because Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, the U.S. Treasury, they really do want to limit the risk that they're putting on ultimately the everyday taxpayer in how they're portfolioing these loans. And they want to invite the private sector to get more involved in picking up some of these pieces. And that's what we're seeing. So there's still product available, but know that there's going to be some change over these next few months. We've already seen it so far this year, and we'll keep weathering through. But if you're an investor or looking to buy a second home, definitely maybe connect with your lender and see what their current selection looks like, what the pricing's looking like. Those are all things that are relative to being affected by a change like this. On the other hand, again, tightened overall qualification parameters. So what that means is there's an automated system we all use as upfront originators, and we put all the information in. It decides if it likes it or not and gives us a green light or a red light. So there's all kinds of algorithms that go into that software, and it's been tightened. So folks who may have been more or less a no-brainer before now aren't seeing an approval go through. So just be on your game. If you're looking for a home, whether you're buying a primary home, an investor, a second home, whatever it might be, just stay in tune with your lender, right? If you were approved quite a while ago, say more than 2 to 3 months ago, it's a good time to check in and make sure everything's still stacking up to what it should be. So lots of changes. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's just about knowing what's going on, being prepared to pivot, and knowing where options are to fill the gaps when you need them. And that's really what I look to do, is make sure that we always have resources and that we know what's going on in the market so that we can communicate with you as the client, realtor, buyer, investor, and keep you ahead of the game. So I hope this is helpful. And if there's ever anything I could do to help, always feel free to reach out. Take care.